us witness the entrance of the candidates and their sponsors. They are Alilav Agum Abali and Mrs. Jocelyn Dabius Abali, with their sponsor, Pastor Dolman and Mrs. Los Prieto. We have Glendon Simbahon Arisgado and Mrs. Maria Teresa Omayaw Arisgado, with the sponsor, Pastor Jennifer and Mrs. Sheila May Gulicado. Walter Orencio Enrique, Mrs. Nervi Cobol Enrique, with the sponsor, Pastor Joey and Mrs. Jane Serrano. Elmer Israel Abista and Mrs. Orchid Vidunia Abista, with the sponsor, Pastor Jerry and Mrs. Marifi Patalingo. Roland Divinio Celidio and Mrs. Allen Fernandez Celidio, with their sponsor, Pastor Clyde and Mrs. Jeneline Sopatra. We have also Nildo Combisino Paglinawan and Mrs. James Sangoy Tulisi Paglinawan, with their sponsor, Pastor Carlos and Mrs. Jocelyn Aganio. Now, we're going to read again the next sequence of their arrangement. We have Luther Osal Vindanilio, Mrs. Sharon Ascuna Vindanilio, with their sponsor, Pastor Edwin and Mrs. Lindilo Magdadaro. Next is Walter Horacio Enrique and Mrs. Nermi Cabol Enrique, with their sponsor, Pastor Jerry and Mrs. Jane Serrano. And we have Julie Sabado Esteban and Mrs. Ivy May Lopez Esteban, with the sponsor, Pastor Rudy and Mrs. Nancy Esteban. And Jonathan Claren Maslow and Mrs. Joan Jaime Maslow, with the sponsor, Pastor Seth and Mrs. Maricel Suwan. And we have also Jimmy Labanon Sabandal and Mrs. Darlene Ersava Sabandal, with the sponsor, Pastor Alex and Mrs. Sinaida Necesario. And we have also Nildo Combisino Palinawan and Mrs. Jeannie Saboy Lisi Paglinawan, with the sponsor, Pastor Carlos and Mrs. Jocelyn Aganio. We have also Roland Defenio Celidio and Mrs. Alin Fernandez Celidio, with their sponsor, Pastor Clyde and Mrs. Jeneline Sumatra.